Alright guys, welcome, and let's go off, first basics here. First rule of thumb is start off by building your labor house the highest tier possible to start out with. Tier 5 is probably target, allows you to have 3 laborers. Tier 4 only allows you to have 2 laborers. Now I drew this diagram to kind of explain what I'm talking about. You don't really want to build a tier 3 house, furnish it, and then the next day have to build a tier 4, furnish it, and then decide you want tier 5, furnish it. Alright, so hopefully I can save you guys a little bit of hassle. Try to go up to that highest tier. Now if you can only do tier 4, it's fine. At least you skip the tier 3. Like I said, I'm trying to save you guys a little bit of time there. Now the other rule of thumb to go by is make all the laborers in the same house of the same type. And there's a couple reasons for that. We'll get to that here in a little while. But that's kind of like the other basic rule. Only put in the same laborers for the same house. You know what I'm saying? Does help out with the trophies and whatnot that we're going to break down for you guys. Okay, so here in our new little starter house that we're building for the video, it's a tier 5 house, right? And we're placing stone gatherers in here, and they are relevant tier 2, right? Like I said, there's a couple things here. You can buy a trophy journal or a regular resource journal. Now resource journals is what you're going to want to be filling in bulk, but you only want to buy one tier 2 journal, resource journal, not trophy journal, resource journal, per labor that you have started out. So we've got 3 laborers. I'm going to buy 3 books, and after we wait for our setup time, which is 10 hours, we'll go fill our books, come back 10 hours later, and the labor intern will give us 100% return, and after he makes that one run at 100% with a tier 2 book, he turns into tier 3. So here we go. Couple things that I haven't really mentioned. 1 table and 3 beds is your basic happiness setup for a tier 5 house. The furniture obviously should be the same tier as the house to get your full value out of it. And if you notice here, we've got our tier 2 resource books filled. Our laborers have waited their 10 hours. They are now ready to go. Once I go ahead and put these on here, as long as it says 100% yield return on a tier 2 book, then everything's set up properly, and you guys can start your labor to function. Now when he does come back, he'll have goods for us, and he will have also leveled up. So once the day is passed and you wait your due time, your laborers come back with their tier 2 resources and automatically tier up to tier 3. So now you can buy some tier 3 books. I'll talk about the journals here in a minute. It's going to take about 5 tier 3 journals to get them up to tier 4. So another week of same thing, every day popping in, doing your business, sending them out, grabbing your goods, and that's about the basic setup to begin with. Okay, now the basic trophy setup, what you guys need to know. Main thing is your tier of your house dictates everything that happens. So tier 5 house, we gotta start with our tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, and tier 2. So you only need 1 of each tier trophy. Now these are generous trophies, and these go for like 90% of the laborers, but 1 of each tier trophy for each house. Okay, so if this is a tier 6 house, we'd have a tier 6, tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, and then tier 2. Since it's tier 5, it's tier 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay, that's basic trophy status. It'll take 20 minutes or whatever it is to engage there. So that was the tier 5 house. Let me show you my tier 7 stone house. Now, like I said, this is tier 7 house, tier 7 furniture. I've got a tier 7 trophy, tier 6, tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, and tier 2 trophy. It's a basic setup. 5 points of happiness per trophy to each laborer, up to 3 of them, right? Covers 3. Alright, let me show you guys the full extent of my laborer island. My main 5 houses here in the center, 1 for each resource. I've got a couple of them that are double houses. The tier 5 in the top left house is the one we started on with our stone. But the main thing is my tier 7 houses for 1 for each material. That's kind of what I focused on. Since I'm a gatherer, I've got 1 for each material. Here we go over to my secondary ore house. I want to show you guys is tier 5. I gather a lot of ore, so I've got 2 ore houses, right? Got the same setup over here. If you guys notice, it's tier 5 house. These guys either run tier 3 books for me or tier 4 books. So I run almost daily through these guys over here on these vendors, on these laborers. So tier 4 books, like I said, this is tier 5 house. All the vendors, all the laborers will give me 150% back return on anything tier 4 or below, which is mainly target. You guys, when I'm trying to fill books through my laborers, 150% return is target. Now if you got something special like some tier 7 books like I've got here, then I'm going to show you guys my tier 7 house. That's when the trophies really come into play, is when you're maxing out your books for the house at the same tier as the house, right? So 735, 5 per each trophy here. I've got my looking glass, and I've got 2 tier 8 vendors, tier 7 vendors. They basically will all run the same. If you notice, there's a little bit of difference between the tier 7 and tier 8. Like that one says max 800, but then the tier 8 ones say max 900. That's just because they're a tier 8 level. The tier 7 one still has leveling up to do, right? So here we go, 117% return on my tier 7 books with both my tier 7 and 8 laborers. Right, because it's a tier 7 house, tier 7 furniture, and then all the bonus perks of all my trophies put it at 117.5, which is pretty good. Looking glass house, right? So tier 7 books returned 117.5%. If we roll up here to my stone house, is tier 7, right? These guys all are set up. They're all tier 8. And they got all the trophies, right? Everything's good there. But mainly what I do, since everything is tier 7, I run tier 6 books at 150%. So that's basically target for anybody in their labors, is the 150% return, which is 1 tier lower than your house and setup. So filling books according to your needs or according to your house, trying to get max out of it. Whatever way works for you, right, is up to you. There's definitely a couple different ways to go about it. The other thing I did want to say is like mixing laborers in one house. You can do it once you understand what's going on as far as the trophies, which ones take generalist trophies, and then which ones actually don't. Now the which ones that don't are going to be the gamekeepers, which are the leather trophies, and the mercenaries. Okay, they both follow their own little trophies. You can see here I've got all my trophies lined up from tier 7 on down to tier 2, just like the other trophies. Each 3 laborers will bonus from 1 trophy. So that's how you set that up. Now before actually we throw this over here, my other leather house, which is tier 6. Oh, you guys want to spy on what I got going? Okay. My other leather house Yeah, like I said, it is tier 6. My vendors in here, or my laborers, are only tier 5. Okay, so since the laborers are only tier 5, but everything's ahead of them, they still can't fill a tier 6 book. Since the laborers are only tier 5, they can only fill tier 5 books. But since I've got all my trophies up, at least I get a 125% return because they are tier 5, right? It's kind of like, as long as everything is one step ahead of the book that you're turning in, you get 150%. So keep that in mind. I know you guys like looking up there, my little dire piglet. So here we go. Tier 7 house, I can fill all my books at 150%. If I had tier 7 books, right, I would be using the bonus from the trophies. So mercenaries, gamekeepers have different trophies. And what do you say? Well, Primo, you didn't say anything about guild islands. All right, well let's hop over and talk about that. All right, so there's a couple obvious reasons to go build laborers in your guild hall. For one, the stone cost versus how many actual laborers you can put into one area pays off a lot better. Not to mention the other fact that tables actually support 6 laborers per one table. Okay, now your trophies only support 3 laborers. So in my guild hall here, I've got 2 sets of freaking generalist trophies because they both work off a generalist. I got 2 sets of those set up, and so they're both basically like the max happiness for right here. So obviously going any bigger than this in your guild hall will take up a shitload of room. I've tried to like tame it down and keep the theme all together here in my guild hall. Definitely not going any more than this. You guys plan ahead, whether it's an alternate guild, something, it could work for you. Try to keep a hold of what you plan to do and what you can actually take care of. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just take it easy. And that's probably about it, you guys. If you guys haven't hit like or subscribe, please do so now. I'll appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing you guys' comments. And that's it. Peace.